Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, how was your drive to Cochin?
It's very short. It just takes 1 hour, 10 minutes to be to your house.
How's
Come
that
to your
road
house.
work going on?
I don't come from the highway. I take the Fort Kochi road. The
Okay.
It's a little about 5-10 kilometers extra, but your car won't get jacked.
Right.
Can't brake, and you won't get back pain.
So much better ride too, I guess.
Yeah,
You come to Cochin often?
yeah, every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Okay. How long have you been living in Kerala now?
Oh, I've broken the record. It's 11 months straight.
11 or 11 months. Okay, okay.
I
Okay.
am from Delhi, so
Okay.
I have a house there.
You were born in Delhi.
No, I'm born and brought up in Calcutta.
Okay.
Not in Calcutta, in West Bengal, in a place called Chittaranjan, which is a very, very small town. And it's really a base for the railways, where they initially made their engines,
Okay.
the locomotives, the steam engines, and then later on the electric locomotives.
Okay, okay. And then from Calcutta, then
Then from
you.
Chittaranjan, my mother got posted to Lilua near Howrah,
Okay,
and from there we stayed. Then I was given in marriage there.
okay,
And then I moved to Agra,
okay.
and from Agra, Delhi. So I keep saying that, this many years, 1/4 of my life is there, the next 1/4, the third 1/4, and finally I've come to Kerala. So I keep asking God, where's my last,
Okay.
where are you going to place me for the last days of my life?
Okay. So what drew you back to Kerala? I mean,
My daughter's built a beautiful house.
okay.
Not a house really. She's built a beautiful boutique resort,
Okay.
and it's about a 5 minutes walk from the beach.
Okay.
And there's total silence there because it's a village. So it's a very therapeutic place to stay.
Relaxing.
From 3:34 in the morning, you can hear the birds praising God, and you can see the dawn breaking. I sometimes feel my voice is loud when I'm
Right,
talking.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
I feel myself, oh God, I'm talking loud because there's so much of
There's
silence
so much of
there.
silence and peace.
Yeah,
Right?
except if there is, in any temple, there is a festival. It's lovely to hear the music and the sloks.
Okay.
Or in the church when they have their worship. I have not heard much of the mosque except the call for worship. That's leaving that.
So on Fridays, probably.
Every day for the
Okay,
morning
right,
worship and
yeah,
evening
yeah.
worship.
Yeah,
Or
but that's
three
usually the
worships.
routine
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow, that's nice. So how
Come
is?
over, come over.
I definitely will, definitely will. I think I've seen a video of. So Sanish had shared with me. So when initially we were discussing, and I think I shared a video of your daughter had put up a video on Instagram, I
No,
believe.
there is this guy who does
Right.
the homes.
House. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah. So he came over and he did a video on it.
Okay.
So it was her concept.
Very green,
Yeah.
very nature centric, very serene.
I'm scared to go back to Delhi because there's so much of pollution.
Your lungs
Sound,
would.
your sound and my.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I came to Cochin just now,
Okay.
and there was one section which was packed, and I could smell the smoke.
Right.
Can you imagine? Just because my lungs have become so pure here,
Right.
that little bit, I'm telling the driver, put the AC on, and that we block the air that's coming from out.
Right.
I don't use AC much.
Okay.
So he says, ma'am, the AC is on. So I said, then the smoke is too strong for me. The pollution is too strong for me.
Yeah, I think when you go back to Delhi, your
It
lungs
is
are going to
going
be in a
to-
shock. They'll be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. And also the vegetables, we grow our own vegetables. We try and have our own vegetables and fish.
Okay.
So that is the beauty of living there. Fruits
Okay.
regularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this like your official retirement life right now, or?
He knows. He's written my story, so I just leave it to him.
Okay. So how did you get into sky? I'm sure you've covered this in various other talks and in your book. I haven't read the book yet. I will look into it. I will definitely read it. But how did you?
I should have bought a copy of the book. Sorry, my mistake. I thought about it last night. I'm really apologetic to
that's
it
fine,
that
that's
I
perfectly
should have
alright.
brought you and handed you a book and given you a signed copy.
So how did you get into skydiving?
I owe you that. How did I get into skydiving? So I was married to an army officer from the
Right.
parachute regiment.
Okay.
And I was already a mother of 2 kids by then.
Okay.
And we were at Agra and we were celebrating the para racing day. It's the day the para center was raced. And we were celebrating there and I happened to be over there at that dinner party. And I was in a group, like, we all stand around, some people have their drinks, juices, whatever, and I was in that group. And there was this couple, he is Captain Shamsher Singh, and his wife, a French lady, who was married to him. She was a skydiver, and he also was a skydiver. And he started the first school of skydiving, Indian Skydiving Federation in India.
Okay.
So they had done some kind of free fall jumps and jumps in here and there to start to promote skydiving.
Okay.
So when we were in this party, she just said, it's very sad that no women have joined the course.
His wife
Mentioned
okay.
that it's so sad that we are running this course and no women have joined. So I am very spontaneous. I said, can I join? So she said, yes, tomorrow morning 5:30, and she gave me the place where I had to reach early morning at 5:30, and that's it. So I knew where the area was, and very sweetly at that time my husband did come with me to join the course, to do the basic course, and he drove and we went there at 5:30 in the morning. And I had prepared everything because my son needed to go to school for his tiffin and everything. I had got up early and done everything. And we started ground training. Of course, he couldn't continue because he had an import post.
Okay.
So after 4 or 5 days, he stopped, and I continued to do the basic ground training, which was tough. She was a hard taskmaster, and I am very grateful that I trained under her.
Right.
Because in my sleep also, if someone says go, I'll do all my drills, even today.
Okay.
So that's how it started.
Okay.
And it was in April 1979 when I did my first jump in Agra.
Okay. What was the gap between like this the fateful night when you had this conversation with this with this person that
Next
wanted
day
to,
morning I reached there.
and then between that and your first solo
and
jump,
another 15 days of ground training,
right?
and also other trainings like malfunctions and theory classes, how to pack a parachute and all
Okay.
that. 15-20 days we did that, and I think on the 21st day we jumped. Another 10 days we finished the course. Nearly within less than a month we finished it.
Finish the course.
Yeah,
And how many of you all were there for this course?
We were 3 ladies,
Okay.
who, for all army officers' wives. The rest were army officers, and there were Jawans also. In the course, we were 45 of us. It was a big course. There was a naval officer also in part of the course, and that was it. But I would like to bring out that nowhere in the world your first jump can be a free fall.
Okay.
Your first jump has to be a static line jump. A static line jump is where there is a kind of a belt, like a cord,
Okay.
which is hooked onto your main parachute. It's put onto the parachute. There's a special way of putting it. It's like a clip, and the other hook is part of the aircraft.
Okay.
So the moment you jump out, the aircraft is flying forward.
forward.
So you're going backwards. So the moment that much length of that static line is over, this pin comes out,
Right.
which was attached to the parachute, and the bag opens, and you're falling. Anyhow, you've already started falling down, and the aircraft is there.
Right.
So the bag opens and the parachute is there. The aircraft is much further, so the parachute being there doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
So that is called the static line jump, because you're not ready to pull your own parachute open. Maybe you hesitate, maybe you can't do it, you fear, you blacked out. Anything can happen because it's your first time jumping out of. Usually in the world at 3,000 feet you jump,
Right.
but we went much higher. We jumped from 4,500 feet.
Okay.
So if you blacked out, you're going to crash. You're going to be nothing. Okay. So because of that, and the pilot didn't allow it.
Okay.
He just refused to have anything attached to his plane. First of all, we asked him to remove a door. That was too much for him to.
This is an army plane. This is an Air Force plane.
No. It was a Beaver. It was a Cessna. It was a
Okay,
small
it was a-
plane, a
okay.
5-seater. So we removed quite a lot of seats. We just kept few seats on the side, and the door was removed. So first he did a test flight that, whether this plane without the door is stable. And then when he felt happy that he could fly the plane without the door, because only one side the door was taken out, then he decided to take us. For him, it was something new. Then to ask him to put the static line would have been a no-no. We
Right.
knew, so we didn't even ask.
Do you remember like the moments leading up to your first jump, the first static line jump? Like,
Yes, the late Brigadier Sandhu from 17 Para was sitting next to me. That time he was a young captain, and he was sitting next to me, and I just held his hand. And my hand, even sometimes when I like you talk about it, my hands, I feel sweaty.
Okay.
So my hands were literally sweating, and I held on to his hand so tight. I might have had very little nails, but he showed me later, look how much you dug into me when I came to the ground.
right.
I said, I'm sorry. He said, you were not even leaving him. Maybe you would have taken me along and gone with you. You know?
And he was also a first time jumper. Like
No, he's a
right.
paratrooper.
Okay, he's a paratrooper, right?
But
right,
he's
that's
just
fine.
learning to free fall.
Right, okay.
Okay, there's a difference between being a paratrooper and being a skydiver.
Okay.
So that's what I explained to you. A
Right, yeah.
paratrooper, their parachutes are open. For us, we open the parachute ourselves as a
Okay.
skydiver.
Okay.
So when he, finally when it was my time, he kept patting me. He said, no, you'll do it well, do it well. So I sat next to the plane. So how do I explain? So I'm sitting here and the plane is right, I mean it's flying in this direction.
Right.
The propeller is in front.
Front.
And I have to sit like this, near the door like this.
Right.
And she's telling me, go. So I'm sitting like this. I say, go. And I go out. I'm sitting on the floor and I'm going like this and like
Okay.
that. Okay. And I did it for 3 times and then she got
Frustrated.
caused so loudly go that I jumped out. And it was like that. And I remember opening the parachute myself.
Yeah.
Maybe it happened at the same time my opening the parachute or it opened itself, I don't know, but it opened and I was happy.
Okay.
And once that was done, of course, I was screaming because I am under parachute, I'm safe. So, of course, I flew it. But we were so innocent, or so, we never knew it all. It was not the days of digital, you could go on to Google to check, what will happen or nothing. Or whatever your instructor has told you, they are gods. That we just trust them. Now, these parachutes were their life shelf has finished. They were old parachute, Russian parachutes, which were literally shelved.
Right.
And we had cut one panel out of it and put 2 toggles on it. So it was all done in-house. The altering the parachute was done in-house.
In-house, okay.
And we trusted it. Our dear life, we trusted to those parachutes, not knowing that anything could happen to us.
Okay.
And then of course landing was very smooth.
Okay.
Like I was speaking to you earlier that we are taught the body position of putting our legs together. Then we click both our knees and legs if it's the ankles are touching each other, and then we make the para position and we're ready to land.
Okay.
So yeah, that was, and then I landed quite centrally to the of the drop zone. So I was very thrilled that I was not somewhere far away. I managed to fly my parachute well.
Okay. What was the feeling when you first jumped out like that? Do you remember that feeling? Was it fear, exhilaration, just
Everything mixed, because here I'm on aircraft for the first time, and then you're asking me to jump out. Okay.
To be fair, I mean,
and everything looked like dots.
Right.
Okay, at 4,500 feet, my hands are sweaty. Do I go? Do I don't go? It'll be such a shame to go back with the aircraft down. Okay, so everything there together, and we have something called an automatic opener, an automatic opening device. So she had taken out the pin, so it already it would open the bag out. So I had to leave the aircraft. That is why she screamed the 3rd time very loudly. And I haven't told you another secret, that I flew faster than the plane and I hung from the strut of the plane.
oh,
So I was Superman. I hope the next time you have a poster of Superman. So I was Supergirl, I was flying with the plane, but because my hands were wet, I slipped.
were you supposed to do that?
No,
Okay.
I was not supposed to do it. My fear got the better of me.
Okay.
So I do not know how did I propel my body that fast.
Right.
Faster than the aircraft to hang from that. I was so determined I have to catch that. I have to hold that.
Okay.
Then I will be safe. But because this was wet, I just slipped and fell. And
Wow.
I went and I tried to open my parachute. And I did this for 3 jumps. And the third jump,
Okay.
I refused to leave it.
Okay.
And she had to bend out of the aircraft and push me down. And and then in front of everyone, we have a very good sentence in Hindi, patloon utarna,
Okay.
which is you literally strip a person down. There's no, so in the army there is a lot of decorum. An army
Right.
officer's wife is never talked loudly. To at loudly. She's never shouted in front of men or something like that. And here we have Jawans with us.
Right.
Okay, how can you treat me? How can you shout at me in front of everyone like that?
But she did.
Yeah, but she did. So she had said what she wanted to because she was a French lady. And she just left. She said, "You're not coming back tomorrow. You could have killed all of us."
Okay.
So that was it. And then I started crying. But all my course mates just came and said, "No, no, no, Richard, come on, cheer up. Come on, drink water, come on, cheer up. We'll find a way out." Then they told me, just go and say sorry to her and say, "Give me one more chance." And then she shared her life with me, how she went through fear. She
Okay.
says, "All these men over here you think don't have fear? They all have fear, but they don't show it."
Okay.
So that is how she got me to jump. So I left. The fourth jump was looking at the tail of the aircraft. I turned this way and jumped. And she
Okay.
told me what had happened. I'd go into a dive, and she said, "Just make a good body position, and you will come out of your dive, and you'll straighten your body out, and that's the end of your fear." And really, that was the end of my fear.
Okay. But at any point, so you said the first 3 jumps you kept repeatedly, you kept clinging onto the plane until
Yeah.
she had to like forcefully let you
Yeah.
push you down, and then she gave you her piece of her mind and all that dressing down and all that. Understandably so, she was also frustrated as an instructor, right? So at some point, and you had, because you said you are a spontaneous person and you want to try adventurous stuff, you registered for this, right? You signed up for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Did you feel after that dressing, that did you feel at any point like maybe I've bitten off more than I should
No,
chew,
never,
maybe I should back? No,
never,
you didn't.
never. I
Okay.
always wanted to fly like a bird. I always wanted to be in the sky. I wanted to be free. I think I was born free.
Okay.
Even today, I have to do naughtiness. Even today, I have to do Padma Shri.
Okay.
And so it is part of me. It is in my blood.
Okay. So so you did not feel at any point that this is not for you
No,
at all.
never.
Okay. And were you always this adventurous as a child, even growing
Yeah,
up?
I
You were
jumped out
always
of a pram at 6 months. So,
skydiving.
so
First
there you
steps.
go. So yeah, my mother and I have a cut here. Okay,
Okay.
so I was cut here.
Okay.
So this was jumping off the pram. I landed on some small piece of rock, stone from the road. This was the boys was when you take flat stones and you skit
Skip it on the
on
water.
the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
So I have to beat them out. I cannot be second. I
Okay.
have to be first in life always. So I said, okay, I'm short. So I stood on top of a stool thinking that I can throw further than them. Little did I realize that stool is going to shake and I'm going to fall. And then I cut
Okay.
my head here. So that was me. That is, I don't like to give up. So my whole, here I would like to share being the first woman in the country to skydive, and that too as a civilian. And anyhow, women had not joined the forces till 91, 92. 92, I think, they were the first time they joined into the forces. So they had, everything, every step I had to take, either I had to fight for it or I had to find a way out for it. And I had to break through every possible barrier. Nothing came on a silver plate to me. And over and above, I had no political connections. I had no godfathers. I had nobody. So I had to struggle and go through everything, but I never gave up.
Okay.
So in skydiving or any adventure sport, it's always you have to have plan B.
Okay.
So your plan A is you open your parachute normal.
Right.
Plan B is if your main parachute doesn't open, what do? Open your reserve. Now, there's one jump that happened when both have opened out for me. I have to find the next solution to it.
Okay.
So that is part of life. You have to be highly alert and always thinking, because you don't have your best friend next to you or your teacher next to you, your instructor, your guru, anyone, and say, hey, what do I do next? Will
Right.
you hold my hand with me here? I don't. You're alone there and you face your problem alone. So that is, I feel every child, it doesn't have to be skydiving. You can do whitewater rafting, you can cycle from Cochin to Trivandrum as a group, camp somewhere, go to maybe Wayanad or somewhere, put up tents and stay somewhere, do anything adventurous. You know a snake can crawl into your tent. Be prepared for it. Okay, and things like that. The moment you taste adventure, you will change. You're not going to be the same person. So your whole personality changes.
Okay.
Your outlook in life changes.
Okay. This, so, you would have cultivated a certain amount of mental strength and fortitude over the years, and when going through these multiple jumps, right? Is there anything that you particularly do, any exercise that you do which helps you with this, or you just mentally prepare yourself and you just go?
I trust in God.
Okay.
So that is my biggest strong point.
Right.
I believe that if He created me, He's written a story.
Okay.
And when He's written a story for me, the day I was born and the day I go home, He's already decided.
Right.
So people would ask me, you're a mother of 2 kids, how could you go and skydive? I said, you
Right.
give me a guarantee that I cross this road and I can't be hit, or I can't be killed. There could be a rogue driver who jumped the light at the last minute and hit me. Okay, someone or something else, or nothing. Simple things. Walking down the steps, and your leg is this part, the middle part of your shoe catches the edge of the staircase. You can slip and fall and hit your head and die.
Right.
The fan over your head can just fall over your head. So there is no guarantee of life till He doesn't call you home. You are not going home. So
Right.
trust was the most important thing in my life, and I lived with that.
Okay.
So that was and then I of course I do exercise regularly. I do run, I still walk, I exercise even today. It's
Okay.
there's two reasons for it, because I have injured my body a lot. I need to exercise and keep myself fit.
Okay.
I have this ego problem. I'm short, I can't be fat. Okay, so I have to keep myself slim and trim.
Right.
So that is another problem in me. So I think that is why I lost height, because God said she would become a peacock if I don't, this thing.
Cut you down to size.
Yeah, yeah. So he put me in my place, and yes, I've always been a person who takes quick decision. It can be right, it could be wrong, but I'm ready to pay the price and ready to find an answer out of it.
Okay. How supportive was your husband during this entire thing?
When I started, he is the one, because he saw I said it in front of everyone. I didn't turn around and say, "Can I go for skydiving?" No,
Right.
I just said it. I asked her, "Can I join?"
Right.
So saying it in front of so many people, 10 people in a group, he couldn't.
He couldn't tell you
He
otherwise.
tell me not to go.
Okay.
So there were two other ladies also who joined with me. So initial 10 jumps, he just did the initial ground training for a few days, and then he couldn't come because of office work. But then he never stopped me also, though the 2 kids were at home, he did take care of them and things
Okay.
like that. So that was a positive point. But later in life, maybe about 10 years later, our marriage broke due
Okay.
to personal reasons.
Right.
And skydiving is the only thing that kept me alive.
Okay.
So, in way back in the 80s, early 80s, it was very difficult for a girl to go through a broken marriage. So even in Delhi, even in anywhere. So when I would go to an office for help or any government office, the first question is, "Where's your husband? What's he doing?" That's the first question you get. "Oh, my husband is in Leh, Ladakh. He's in field. He comes once a year. He comes for a month and a half." So that's it. He just came. He and left. So I had to tell all these lies, and I had to be very quick in making up my stories. So,
Okay.
and very straightforward, looking in that person's eye and saying the truth, that I never lied about it, with a straight poker face.
Right.
So yeah, so that these are things that have taught me to be resilient and to stand up and
Okay.
be strong.
Which is scarier, dealing with the Indian family system when it comes to choosing, a career like this, or actually jumping out of a plane?
I can make you phrase it even better. Dealing with the men in India, is it more difficult than families? Their family will always be with you, especially
Right.
your mother and sisters and all will be there.
Right.
But dealing with the men folk in our country is 1,000 times more difficult than jumping out of a plane.
Look, what happened to him? I mean, this,
No,
like
I
menfolk
mean to
as in your
say that
ex-husband, or
no, no, no. I'm just saying, the moment they come to know you're single, or the moment they know that you're divorced, oh, you're available. There is some kind of a thing that is put over your head saying that you're available.
Right.
I'm happy with my 2 children. I'm happy at home. Okay, I just do skydiving because I want a little bit of a change of scene and a little break from my normal life.
Okay.
Okay, and give me strength. That's why I do skydiving. It gave me a lot of strength. I never did skydiving ever in my life to become popular. Like the other day, I was sharing with with Sanishan itself, that after 23 years of my career coming to an end, suddenly I came to Kerala and suddenly the book is opened up for me. Suddenly what I've never dealt with media and things like that, it just happened to me. And my daughter gets so amazed, "Mom, another interview, another write-up, another half page for you." So he says, "How do you do it?" I said, "I don't go knocking any door, it just comes to me." So I just thank God even for that. So I think, yes, it was very difficult. It was safer for me in America when I used to go and train and stay on the drop zone. No one would force themselves.
Okay.
Of course, I'm brown, so they leave me alone. Okay. And they thought I never spoke English well, so all the better. So I never had problems there. But
Okay.
here, even today, our girls are not safe. That is the sad part. That is the real sad part of our country. In down south, I do not know much, but up north, sometimes we ask, "You don't have a sister and a mother at home?" You literally ask them. So that is the condition of our country getting worse and worse and worse. I don't blame it on anyone. Both the parties are at fault.
The men and the women.
Yeah. Now, in the present generation,
Okay.
in the 80s, women were not so this thing, but now there is a different scene.
Okay.
So when the scene changes, there is a different vibe that takes place.
Okay.
So don't crib if it has become more,
Right.
because if you walk that life, it is going to be more. If you want to stay away, it is where you want to draw the line. It's where you want to call the shots
Okay.
in life.
Okay. But so, would you say like a certain aspect is that skydiving as such, even now when, let's say professional skydiving, not recreational skydiving, right now you go on Instagram,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there are a lot of places where you can just, for a one-time jump, you can
Yeah,
just
you're
jump with
going to go
somebody.
to Dubai,
You
go
go
and
to
do a
Dubai, a lot of these
beautiful,
places.
do a
Yeah.
tandem jump.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, that'll probably be my career in
Yeah.
skydiving. I'll just probably go once, jump, like, Yeah, it was fun. Cool. I'm done.
You get a certificate.
Yeah, get a certificate. Like,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
get a video.
Yeah, it's like a bucket list thing,
Yeah.
right? But let's just say if somebody were to get into professional skydiving, even I would assume it's still a primarily male-dominated field.
No,
It
not
isn't?
anymore. Not anymore.
Okay.
Maybe in our country because now the women numbers are growing.
Okay.
Now they are into wingsuit. There's much more action that is taking place, especially with the younger generation girls who are just in their late 20s. 25, 26. I know girls who've I know a girl from Bangalore she's very blessed. Her father is a skydiver, so she gets a lot of help and a lot of training. She's a wingsuit pilot.
Okay.
There is another young girl who was a polo. She plays polo matches. She's from a good family. She's got into skydiving. She's got her B license. There's a lot of women now that is growing in skydiving. There's a girl who takes a team and goes to Thailand and helps them to train and bring them back. So there is lot of action happening, but they have not got into professional doing a style and accuracy competition or like making a formation competition or flying canopies formation wise. There are many competition in our sport also.
Right.
So we are part of the World Air Games. Skydiving is part of the World Air Games. So for me when I finished my 10 jumps, I went into demos, doing demonstration jumps to promote the sport in the country. Then after doing demonstration jumps, when it was getting tough, because I had to do it either with the forces, I had to get special permission to jump with them or jump out of an aircraft. So it had to go sometimes I went to high levels like the PM's office, write a letter and request.
Right. Yeah.
A request for 20 jumps because there's no other way to skydive. So, and I got it. Okay. So, but now everything is much different. So then when my demos stopped, then I went to America. I got Rajiv Gandhi scholarship, the PM scholarship. I trained over there, and I had to now think what next. So I went into doing style and accuracy. I did accuracy jumping, which was a world competition. I did a couple of jumps, but then people jump 1,000 jumps before they come for a competition from the US and Russia and China. How can you compete with such people? They have coaches, they have physiotherapists, they have mentors. You know, there's a whole team with them. And here you go as a single person. So it becomes tough and then it becomes expensive. And to fund for the competition or for the air ticket became difficult. And then I moved to become a judge. So I trained as a judge. So at least that I am in the sport and with the skydiving federation fraternity. I'm there, so I became India's first qualified judge. So I did accuracy judging. I did 3 to 4 accuracy world competition judging, and then they stopped putting me on the list because there are younger people coming up, and I'm not getting any practice in my own country to judge nationals. So when I'm not getting any practice and I just go to a world competition, it's not correct.
Right.
You have to practice also, no?
Right.
And being a judge, you have to be current. Then I moved to be a delegate. I hosted the International Parachuting Commission in India for the first time at Agra. So I moved, and then I started doing other things like get the veterans to jump here during the 9/11 time. Then do other jumps, get other things organized. So like that, I did a lot.
Okay.
So I had to find a way, like Plan B. My
Right.
Plan B would be effective for me.
Okay. The scene over here, the skydiving scene in India, has it come a long way? Has it
Yes,
developed a
yes,
long
yes,
way
yes,
since?
yes.
Okay.
But it still has to grow.
Okay.
So they're trying to regularize it more. They're trying to put things into rules, and the Aero Club is doing a lot. The government is paying a lot of attention to aerosports. They're helping. Our president is become one of the ministers in the aviation field. So because of him being one of the ministers there in the aviation field, I think like getting aircrafts, getting equipment, getting aid from the government get to
Okay.
buy stuff. Buy the aerosports as such is a very expensive discipline.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, like we all own our own parachute. I never owned a car
Okay.
because my parachute was 1.5, 2 lakhs then.
Right.
So how do you own a car? So I was on a kinetic. I'm
Okay.
happy with the kinetic. So that is life.
Okay. How were your children throughout? Like,
My
when.
children, my son is an outdoor person, very outdoor person. He loves to go. He does go for wild boar, wild shooting of wild ducks and things like that.
Right.
He stays in the U.S. He's quite an outdoor person. He loves fishing, trout fishing. So he's quite outdoor born. My daughter tried skydiving, but again in Dubai. But this guy wanted to show off, so he made her go round and round, and she felt pukey. So I always then tell people, don't let the guy who's your tandem master, let him do one turn for you and show you the Burj Khalifa, the Burj Al Arab, and the Palm, and this and that, and then stop
Right.
and then fall freely. Because if you he wants to do it fast that he can come and take another passenger and go and make more money.
Right.
Okay, so don't let him do that. Then
Okay.
let him. He gives you the parachute to fly. Enjoy flying the parachute. So then she didn't
Yeah.
take it much. But she's a deep diver. She's
Okay.
got rescue license in diving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she
See the other end.
in the other end. Yeah, she says the world down there is very, very pretty.
Yeah, I've recently gotten into scuba and
Yeah.
free diving.
Okay,
So
it's very pretty,
yeah,
she says.
it's quite calm and serene.
Yeah. So she's now done 2 dives. No, she's done one in Taiwan, and hopefully she may do one in Japan.
Okay.
And then when she flies back in Thailand, so she likes to try different waters to see
Yeah.
the fauna.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's taken a break for a month.
Okay. But they were supportive of your.
Yeah. See, they were small also, and
Now, how did that work? Like, I was going to ask you. Like, basically you were a single mom, right?
Yeah.
After you
Yeah,
split up with your
yeah,
ex-husband,
yeah.
the children were with you,
Yeah.
and then you raised them on your own.
Yeah.
So, how did you manage that, being a single mom and professional skydiving at that
My
point?
mom and my sister was there.
Okay.
My sister was there till my son went to boarding and my daughter went to a boarding. I put them both in when they were around in class 8 because we are all boarding products. So,
Okay.
and I felt my son needed to go to a boarding because there was no male member in the house.
Right.
And also by going to the boarding to St. Joseph's Nainital, which was a very good boarding, he discovered he's a very good boxer.
Okay.
He discovered he was a very good swimmer.
Okay.
He created a record for his school which got just broken 3 years or 4 years back.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he was studied in Stephens. There also he had the blazer because he won the UP championship. So he's very good in swim. So these things, if he had been at home, maybe he wouldn't have
Wouldn't
he
have
wouldn't have
realized.
ever discovered that he was good at those.
Okay.
My daughter, of course, she wanted to try and be a Miss India.
Right.
So she started, and we all tried to, her brother especially, tried to dissuade her, but she reached and she won. And yeah, she continued, but then she wanted to go to the film world.
Okay.
Yeah, but I left that choice to her. Then she decided what she wanted. And today she's very happy. She does corporate events only, high level corporate events.
Right.
And she just finished the Arab Week horse breeding show, which was a very big show for the
Okay.
Abu Dhabi King.
Your interaction with the Prime Minister and your letter to the Prime Minister, how did that go about? How did that?
I was invited by the Australian Parachute Federation. So there was a FAI meet, that is a Federational Aeronautical International. That's the main body, the apex body of all aviation sport, be it ballooning, be it paragliding, be it aeromodeling, anything. The FAI controls it all. So they have the different disciplines of all our aviation sports. So they had a meet in Delhi. So when they had this the FAI plenary meeting, the general body meeting. So when they had this FAI meet in Delhi, they had to India had to exhibit all the aerosports that we do in the country. So be it ballooning, be it gliding, be it skydiving, or aero modeling, whatever. So all that had to be done to show to them, to the delegates. So that time there was not so much of problem, security problem. So we skydived in Saptajing Airport. If you've been to Delhi,
Okay.
so that was the airport when Delhi started, before
Right.
Palam even came
Right,
up.
right.
So that's near the PM's house.
Okay.
So in that, it's a very big piece of land. So we skydived there. So I was the only girl in a team of 6, 7 army guys. I skydived.
Okay.
And I had a very nice parachute, a para commando, which I could fly, and I came very close to where the delegates were. And the Australian president recognized that I have to struggle a lot. He himself realized among this military crowd and among the men. So when he went back, he invited me to Australia for their nationals.
Right.
So that's how I went to Australia, and that's the first time I got exposed how advanced skydiving was.
Okay.
I never knew there was something like a square parachute. I never knew all the things, all the jargons and all the things. I had no international exposure. And like I said earlier, we don't have computers and we were not so tech savvy in the 80s. So I was in Australia in 84. And when I came back, I did few jumps there. When I came back, I just sat in my drawing room in a couch like this. I took a white piece of paper. I just wrote a letter to Rajiv Gandhi. I never even reread it for the spelling mistakes or language or anything. I just folded it. I said, otherwise I'll start correcting it. I put it into an envelope. Inside I wrote Honorable Prime Minister and everything.
Right.
But outside it was Mr. R. Gandhi. I never even wrote 5 race course, which is supposed to be addressed. By mistake, I wrote 7 race course, New Delhi. And I took my kinetic and went to the Agra railway station to the RMS. And I put it there, that it will not be mixed up with all the normal letters and no one will see this is for the PM.
Right.
And it got to him. And of course, those days, cling, cling, cling. And a telegram came to me
Right.
asking me to be in the PM's house.
Okay. And how was that? How was
That was, I felt very miserable because there were other people also there. So he came from one side and I was the last person he would meet. So I said, oh God, he won't even have time for me. So I had only my logbook and few paper cuttings that I had those days. So when he reached me and he looked at my logbook and then he says, what is this? No pull, forgot to pull. What is this pull? I said, whatever you can imagine. I forgot that I was talking to the Prime Minister of the country because I knew he is into aviation and he loves flying. I've seen him as a pilot in Agra.
Right.
He carrying his own bag and walking,
Right.
so smartly. That time he was not the PM. So for me, it was another aviator, another person who loves aviation, talking to another person who loves something to do with it. And he laughed and I laughed and PTI person took a beautiful picture of mine. So if you ever go to the Instagram, my Instagram pictures, it's there.
I've seen it. I've seen the picture.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I treasure that picture. Right. And so he said, have you brought a proposal? I said, no. He said, okay, you get a proposal ready and go and give it to Pulok Chatterjee, who was his, who was his PS. He was IS officer. So then it was snail mail. So
Okay.
I had to write an aerogram to Rayford, to North Carolina, to the best drop zone where training takes place, ask them the cost, when to come, all these things. When I got that, I put it all together, how much a parachute would cost, put it all together. Those days, I think in 1985, I took out officially on my passport, you'll be shocked, nearly 10,000 US dollars.
Oh.
Yeah, the RBI gave me 10,000 US dollars to take.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Because that was for my parachute, that was for my stay, that was for my training for a year plus. So that was a lot. So I think I had to do justice to the country also.
And this was before your the North Pole
Oh
jump.
yes, my North Pole is in 2002.
How did that happen? The North Pole jump.
I told you I used to do demo jumps.
Right.
So when I used to do demo jumps, one of my demo jumps was the opening ceremony of the youth festival. So
Okay.
right from the first youth festival, which happens on Swami Vivekananda's birthday, which happened in Bhopal, I think, can't remember the year. I think Shankar Dayal Sharma was the president then. Okay,
Right. Okay.
and it happened in Bhopal, and so we did the inauguration of that youth festival there, where I had taken few Jawans with me, few people with me, and we did a beautiful jump into the Bhopal stadium.
Okay.
And that day it was wet and rainy, and for me it was so touchy that the president of India stood up, came out of his pavilion, stood to watch me to skydive. It brought me tears to my eyes.
Okay.
So it was in a similar jump in Hisar. We planned to inflate a balloon in the stadium, and when the balloon was inflated, there was a squadron leader, Kamal, who was with me. So we got into the balloon. We went up to 3,000 over the stadium straight, and we skydived out of the balloon. We just did jump and pull. We says hop and jump,
Okay.
because we don't do much of free fall. So from 3,000 to 2,500 we worked. So people could see us flying without the parachute, then open the parachute, then uh, came and landed in the stadium. So then when that jump was over, then Kamal very slowly tells me, I'm going to the North Pole. I said, why didn't you tell me till now? He had no answer. So I had just 3 months to manage to raise funds to go to the North Pole jump. And it was a very expensive expedition. I can't remember offhand. I needed a lot of money.
So how did you go from
So
here?
I was very blessed. I
Okay.
think God really helps me a lot. So railways, I was working for the railways. So railways was celebrating 150 years of this, and I just took a plunge and asked my railway minister, I want to jump on the North Pole,
Okay.
and will you sponsor this jump for me? So he sponsored it verbally. The file had not reached
Okay.
to write it. So I said, okay. So I just took his word of honor in front of few people, and I took a loan for that
Okay.
amount,
Okay.
and I left. So I said, worst come to worst, क्या मैं अपना gold, I'll sell my gold.
Right.
So I had plan B also there. I said, okay, if the government doesn't give me money, I'll sell my gold. But I decided to go for it.
Okay.
But much more than the North Pole jump, which happened on the 21st of April, 20th of April 2002, the same 20th of April is the same day I did my first jump in
Oh, wow.
1979.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a coincidence. So I jumped on the North Pole on
Same. Yeah.
same date, on 20th of April 2002. I treasure staying 5 days on the North Pole in minus 55,
Okay.
because the weather had packed up and we couldn't skydive.
Okay.
So living on one meal a day, not changing clothes, living with a very difficult situation that to go to the loo you have to walk out in an open space with no roof, no door.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was tough, but I enjoyed it.
Was that the first time you were jumping in such a cold
Yeah,
environment?
yeah.
So that would have been a stark
Yeah,
difference,
yeah. And
contrast
again,
to.
everyone just helped. I don't know, help just came in from everywhere. George Fernandez, I just asked him, he gave me the full gear what they use in Siachen. What
Okay.
the soldiers use there. I got right from the shoes, the thermals, the inners, and everything in a brand new packet came to me home.
Okay.
Some man read about it. A lot of papers had covered me that I'm going for the North Pole. He met me up, Mr. Goyal, and he just, see how I think God just puts his little angels all over. And he says, what do you want? I said, I don't have a good camera. So he said, okay, come, I'll buy you a camera. Stranger, total stranger. Okay, so then Annie helped us with extra luggage. Russian embassy allowed us to take extra luggage on the Russian flight, Aeroflot. So everything like just, and then Annie, where Annie was working, her boss sponsored our stay in Moscow.
Okay.
You know, expenses that we never thought we'll have.
Right.
You know, so it was just like as if, it is like as if someone was just plugging things in for us. So it was really, I always say, it's like, you know, my life is a miracle. And it really is God's work. If I'm alive today, if I'm walking, even if I walk crooked, it is because God has really taken care of me. I'm not on a wheelchair, God's blessing. I'm not dead, God's blessing. So I always want to be grateful to Him for everything He did for me.
You have had any jump wherein which, like, after your jump, at some point, did you think, okay, this is not going right, this might be it?
No, my kids made me promise me after I broke my leg in Trivandrum that I'll never jump. But I know I'll sneak and
No,
do
no,
a
no. At
jump.
any point, like when you jumped, like something wasn't going right. It wasn't going by the numbers, and you felt this might go really sideways, or this might go.
Yes, in Turkey. I dreamt of it in Turkey in the night, in my sleep. I got up scared because I couldn't see the end of the dream. I just said a prayer. I went to the loo. I washed myself up, drank water,
Okay.
and went back to sleep. But when the morning when I got up, I just forgot about it. I
Okay.
didn't even remember. I just went and did my jump, and what I dreamt came true. But
Okay.
God saved me again.
Okay.
So both my parachute, really I had my hamstring was pulled. And
Okay.
because my hamstring was pulled, the moment you open the parachute, you have to, I did this because I didn't want the jerk on my shin with the hamstring. So just to that, you know, when the parachute opens, there's a jerk. So I didn't want that. So just to that, I did this. So as you see, I'm small built. So our reserve handle is here.
Right.
So I did this, and the reserve handle popped out.
Okay.
And when the reserve handle popped up, my bag fell out. My reserve bag fell out. When my main parachute was already open. Okay, so with that, what happened is the reserve was there. All had to do is theoretically what we are taught, and I should have followed it to the T, is just take the reserve back and put it between my legs and cross my legs
Okay.
and bring it down. My parachute is flying fine. I don't need to touch that. But again, that fear in me that my hamstring is not good. I may not be able to hold the reserve bag tight. It'll fall down, it'll open out from the bag, and it'll go from down and get into the main parachute. It'll become a beautiful twisted candle that we
Twisted
use
mess. Yeah.
on the dining
Right.
table for a romantic dinner. So I know what would be the outcome of it because we learn it. So because of that fear that this could happen, I decided to hold that reserve and do a cutaway. So, but I did not realize the moment I do a cutaway and the rings open out, I get a jerk and this will open out. My hand can open out and that
Okay.
reserve will open out.
Okay.
So the reserve got into, so there are two straps, no?
Right.
So one strap got free, so it's already flying free. The reserve opened and got into this strap of mine.
Oh.
So I had two parachute dishwashing me,
Oh.
you know. So I can't do anything now. I can't do a cutaway. I can't do anything. It's gone. But I knew it won't get. It could get into it one, but I didn't think about it. I just prayed. I asked God to forgive all my sins. I asked God.
Did your life flash before your eyes at
Yeah,
that point?
I said, God, you gave me my two kids. I give them back to you. Okay, and I kind of like I just said my prayers.
Accepted your fate.
Yeah, I accepted my prayers, and I just said my prayers, and I closed my eyes. And maybe because I surrendered everything to God, so I think just 5 feet away or 7, 8, 10 feet away, there was a land which was totally wet. The farmer had just flooded his field with water. It was soft. I landed on a beetroot field. So one of the beetroot hit my vertebra. So I had to be taken to the hospital. But when I landed and I opened my eyes, I said, okay, working, okay, working, okay, working, working. So I'm not paralyzed. Thank you, God. Okay, so everything was working. But I never knew about the injury in my back.
Right.
So I went to the hospital. I was in the hospital, and when I was in the hospital for so many days, they gave me a brace to wear,
Right.
a kind of a metallic brace with a leather belt. But I can't leave Turkey without doing the Bosphorus. I cannot leave Turkey without seeing Ankara. I don't know if I'll come back. So
Sure.
I traveled. I did everything I wanted
But
to
you
do
didn't
there.
jump beyond that.
No, no, no. I traveled, but
Where was this jump in Turkey?
in Izmir. It's a
Okay.
beautiful place if
Okay.
ever you get a time to go.
Okay.
Ephesus and Izmir are both beautiful places. People
Okay.
only go to Istanbul.
Right.
Don't go to Ankara because it is cold like Washington DC.
Okay.
Not cold that way, I mean to say
Right.
it's just monumental,
Right.
like
Right.
just
Right.
buildings
Yeah.
because it's a government
It's a
place.
government
But
place. Yeah.
all history is in Istanbul, Ephesus, Izmir, all those places.
Okay. From mainly operating, at least when you started out, what was a male dominated field? Like, what was some of the discrimination that you faced as a woman? Besides the functional aspects of things not being tailored for you, because you had to operate a lot with the forces and, such and such. But other than that, what are the other discrimination that you faced, like stuff that sticks out in your mind?
No, I felt very sad that, in a sport, there should not be, see, if you're doing competition, you will be judged in the male category. I'll be judged in the female category.
Female
Okay,
category, right.
so when we are in our own categories, why should you be jealous or why should you have a problem of me progressing?
Okay.
Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
There were men who were jealous
Yeah,
of.
yeah, I had a lot of problems, especially for the forces because there were no civilians that time. So
Okay.
it was from the forces that I had. And being an army officer's wife, okay, even though I was not married, but I'm still an army officer's wife, where you give women so much of respect in the army. How come, why was that? Why did they have that feeling? I could not understand.
Okay.
Because I understand the what is it called, the Air Force instructors were called sky gods. Okay, they
Like
were called
officially?
officially, not officially, unofficially. They were
Okay.
called sky gods. So because they were sky gods, suddenly women have women have not come into the forces now. Still, women have come into that circle, the inner circle, which even as an army officer or an Air Force officer, if you wanted to be a skydiver, you had to go through the pressure chamber test, you had to go through special medical test. It was very tough to qualify to get into go to do a skydiving course. Okay, so only basically the commandos were the people who were doing skydiving in the army.
Right.
So we had 3 units those days. Now there are more. 3 units who were commando units, 1, 9, and 10. Okay,
Right.
rest were all paratroopers. So if for us, for them, we never had any chamber test. We had normal medical test. Okay, that's it. So now we've broken that myth that we don't need to be so perfect or so something, and you can still skydive. So that was the biggest ego they went through. So
Okay.
there were days when we would get the first lot in the morning, early morning. Then we would get the last lot when the thermals have picked up.
Right.
So it would be very difficult
Difficult.
for us to jump or we land somewhere far away. So we've gone through all that. Okay.
Okay.
Even as a delegate, when I hosted something for India, which was never done before, and I did a great job. I had, I'm not praising myself, but there were 300 international delegates who had come from 35 countries. And it was a 3-night, 4-day event. I even had managed to get special permission to jump over the Taj Mahal and land on the other side on the sands banks of the Taj Mahal, that we get beautiful picture with the Taj Mahal and people landing. So basically I was opening the country out,
Out, right.
you know, for tourism and things like that. But that also you pull the rug under my feet, you know. And
Right.
you convince a person, no, she doesn't have everything. When I've already given all my permissions.
Right.
See, those days things were not so tough as today.
Okay.
You know, like, let them go and try for getting that permission. They won't, because there's terrorism problem. Someone will bomb the Taj from top.
Right, right, right. The other factors. Okay, yeah.
There are so many other factors that have come up now. But in the 90s, 92 or 94, when I did that event, I pitched for the event. I bid for the event and won it. It was not given to me in a plate. I had to bid against Ireland for that event.
Right.
And I bid a negative bid, not a positive bid. I know I stood up very, very with a lot of confidence in me, and I said, I'm standing here for India. I have not brought any pamphlets or anything to show you about Agra or anything. I have come here just inviting you to India. I know all of you all have to fly and come to India, whereas most of you staying in Europe can drive to Ireland.
Right.
Okay? But for me, everyone, each one of you sitting in this room have to fly and come to India. India is a strange country to you. You've only heard and seen, and you're skeptical about it. Come and see my country. Come and give us an opportunity to host something and do something in skydiving, which the world has not come and done.
Okay.
So, and then I just said that it's $500 per person, $500 per person, and you'll get the best time of your life.
Okay.
And Ireland bid for 450,
Right.
a lesser bid, and they didn't win it. I won it by 13 extra votes
Okay.
by doing a negative bid.
Right. Right.
You know,
Okay, yeah.
so sometimes it's how you package it and give it. You show your weaknesses open. Okay, we've never done it, but we're ready for it. And guess who are my helpers? My children and their friends.
Right.
You know, so I used the young teenagers to work for me, free of cost. I saved money on everything, and I gave the Aero Club money back of what I had made from that event. So I like to take up a challenge, and when I like to take up a challenge, I like to do it well. That is always my criteria in life.
Was this after your Padma Shri victory or before?
No, my Padma Shri I got after my North Pole.
Okay.
So yeah, I got, before that I got the National Adventure Award, which is at par with the Arjuna Award today. Now it is called Norway Tensing Award.
Okay.
Because this Adventure Award, initially when it started, it was instituted, it was meant for mountaineering, it was meant for water, any water adventure, or air, land, water and air, all three disciplines. So because when Bachandri was given an Arjuna Award when she had scaled Everest, the sports people was against it. She climbed Everest. You cannot give her a Arjuna Award.
Okay.
She's not done a competition.
Okay.
Okay, so
Technicalities.
technically it's right. So they had to institute another award, for which the National Adventure Award, which was the correct name for that award, that was started in '94. That was started, and I got it for air. The first year when it was instituted, I was given it for the air, in the discipline of air. So the thing is that now they've changed the name, so it only sounds as if it is for mountaineering, but it's for all three disciplines, for the air, water and mountain. Yeah.
Okay. Now the reason I asked about the Padma Shri Award is and your Padma Shri victory and the other awards that you've won. I mean, I'm sure these are huge momentous moments of pride for you, right? You
Yeah,
were super honorable, right? But how does that make you feel in contrast with these situations where in which your own government has pulled out the rug from under your feet? And when you're trying to push the country out there, and then your own armed forces, people are feeling jealous of you and trying to stifle your progress.
I think in life everywhere we face a battle. in our
Right.
normal life, in a day-to-day life, whether we're driving on the road, it's a
Right.
battle, okay? Whether you go shopping, it's a battle.
Right.
So we cannot say that, just because in the sports field or that happened to me, I just take it with a pinch of salt. I leave it. I said, they have a conscience, they have to live with it. So I just leave it at that and forget it, because I don't want to cry over that. I did my bit. They want to acknowledge it, it's left to them. If they don't want to, they don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose that's a smart way to, it's a very positive way to go about it.
Why break your head on something that you cannot force someone to love you?
True. True.
Okay, so when
Yeah.
you can't force someone to love you, then just accept it and say, okay, he was not meant for me or she was not meant for me.
Right. At any point, did you ever feel like, okay, I've done enough skydiving, I want to move to something else?
Yes, for me, every day is a life is an adventure. So I don't like to miss anything out. I went to New Zealand, I tried sandboarding.
Right.
So yeah, I did. Today I nearly stopped my driver, and I saw some people near the beach where we turn and come towards main Cochin, into the land. I said, "Nikka, out of Mantrimar, and I have to go and tell them that people still are desecrating the beach.
Oh,
They
right.
should stop it." So for me, everything is like, I want to do something.
Right.
So he says, Auntie, he didn't, maybe he felt I cannot walk up. So I always want to, I try and want to do something, like today I want to try and do, if, I don't know why people don't wake up trying to clean our country,
That's so true.
or do beautify our own this. We just want our little bit
Yeah, I
and finished.
completely agree. And it's quite saddening because,
Yeah.
like, in my travels, especially when it comes to diving, you go to
Vietnam.
yeah,
Go to
so you
Vietnam.
go to countries, and the usual response when this argument is raised is that India's a poor country, there are too many people, yada yada. Yada. I'm like,
I
no,
know.
no, you go. I've gone to countries which are very similar socioeconomically, or even below us, like Indonesia, Vietnam, parts of Thailand. These are all places which are equally crowded, very similar geographical, political situation. Even culturally, there are a lot of overlaps, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that they can maintain their beaches and roads nicely, but here we trash our beaches? And it is so heartbreaking. Like, we do
It
such
is.
a poor job of that. It is.
No, we don't realize by putting our waste into the ocean, home waste, like with a plastic bag, that plastic bag shreds and the fish is eating the same
Yeah, yeah.
plastic and we are eating that fish. Or one man came up with something very nice. He was from Ooty and he'd come. There's a massage place. There's what you call Ayurvedic
Right.
treatment center close to our house, and he was from there. And he asked someone, "This ocean you worship. It provides you food. It provides you earning. You treat it as a god. When you treat it, how can you desecrate it?"
Right.
So it was like, yeah. I said, yes, I've been trying to fight it. Now I just shared with a friend of mine saying there are boats from the tsunami. When did the tsunami come? How many years back? Why are those broken boats lying there to remind people of the tsunami still? That it can come back? Or what are you trying to show? Instead, move it and make it beautiful. What you're showing to the tourists. So these are things that I also like to get into, and
Right.
I enjoy doing. I have started going to schools. I've been started getting invited to schools. I speak to a lot of youngsters, and I especially try and target children in 11th and 12th, because I try and speak to them and say to them, you're going to go out there where there is no teacher. You're not in a closed environment. You're not in a safe environment. You're going to go out somewhere where you're totally on your own, and you said, oh, I'm in college, I've got freedom. But you don't know what you're stepping into. So even our schools have to get ready. They should spend time, maybe once a week, having a period where they talk and ask and we talk and answer what they need to be prepared when they step out of this school. It's
Right.
not just giving them that certificate they finished their ICSE or CBSE or whatever, they got their, they finished their 12th and they're thrilled to go to a college. That's not it. You have to prepare, especially of the latest news, Kerala is supposed to be number one in drugs, which shocks me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a honest fact. Let us all face it and start waking up. Our little children are going to go out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I say, thank you, God, my children have grown up, my grandchildren have grown up. But what about the next generation? Why should we be selfish and live in our own cocoon? I'm safe, my wife is safe, my children are safe, my family is safe. But you're not safe. Nobody is safe. And I was like, I talk to people. I talk to a lot of people. I talk to my Uber driver. I will talk and find out what is happening there, out there. And some of the stories that I've heard from these Uber guys, it's unimaginable. You all should start talking to people in the open and find out things. What happens in the middle of the night, it's unimaginable that happens here. Of course, our churches are praying for everyone's praying for it, but it's unimaginable what happens in the city.
Among the youth.
It's unimaginable.
Yeah, I think awareness.
It's super awareness.
I think awareness and having creating a forum for healthy dialogue is very important. That's something which I've seen is not there.
No, they should have less studies. Start bringing them into normal life. Teach them about normal life. Like my children say, Mama, ഈ theorems എല്ലാം പഠിച്ചിട്ട് the algebra, geometry എല്ലാം പഠിച്ചിട്ട് എവിടെ use ചെയ്യാനാ?
That's
where are we going to use it?
it's like
then physics പഠിച്ചു.
so my friend's Instagram, here's his birthday and he had put up a post like happy 42nd birthday to me. He's like 42. It's like I don't know, this many years of not having used the Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah. Why? Let us start. Okay, let us make our own system. If someone wants to super special in maths, like I think they have it in America. They let you choose the subjects you want, and you go to that class to that teacher. The teacher doesn't come to teach you.
Right.
You go to that class. You are learning geometry or you're learning something. You go there, and you go. Then you super specialize in that.
Okay.
That is your weakness or that is your interest.
Right. That is kind of happening over here. So I see with my nephews and nieces in their
the
schools
IB
right
curriculum.
now. Yeah, so that is slowly happening. But then again, that's also a consequence of the job environment, of a career environment. Because over here, because of our population, because there's so many people, and Indians fundamentally crave stability. It's that it's that popular middle class mentality, because you have so many people. It's such a hyper competitive environment.
Yeah.
You try to clutch at the most stable option.
Yeah.
You are not aiming for, like, let's not go for big.
Yeah.
Let's just get what's achievable, right?
Yeah.
So you try, and this is what I've realized, that people try to look at careers which has the most hireability, which is why engineering, medicine, like even if you become an engineer, if you become a doctor, you are respected, you will make a certain amount of money, and there is stability. Doctors will always be required. That's why you go for that, right? Vis-a-vis in the US, they are a lot more risk-taking. Americans especially are a lot more risk-taking. So a person might do, I don't know, physics with photography or something. From a real world perspective, as a company would find it very difficult to hire a person with such an educational background. But that person's idea in the US, a person taking that course is not planning on going and sending his resume out to companies. He wants to do something with his life and just go out and do on his own, right? So I think that's one of the reasons why in India it's a lot more traditional in people. Even the courses are structured in a much more traditional way in the way it approaches, but it is slowly changing. I see that.
I think in Pune, I was trying to rack my brain. There is it's a big group of, big group now they've opened a new college that is only for, like, you want to be specialized in AC or electric things, or you want to specialize,
Vocational courses.
like vocational courses
Right.
in as a graduation,
Right, right,
or you want to do carpentry, or
right.
you want to sing, or you want to be a vocalist, things like that, or you want to learn to be a newsreader.
Right.
So they are doing courses there, they are doing that first year, second year, third year. They are having only this kind in that school. I'm trying to remember, it's one of the good groups that have started this college there.
To be fair, that actually makes sense because now with the advent of AI,
Yeah.
AI is making a lot of what was previously like clerical, your 9 to 5 desk jockey
Yeah,
jobs,
yeah.
slowly becoming redundant.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing AI cannot do is like come home and fix your plumbing.
Yeah, yeah,
Or like
yeah.
make a good chair for you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you're
That's it.
probably better off learning plumbing rather than
Yes.
sitting and I don't know
That is why
coding.
even doctors in the UK marry
Right.
a plumber or an electrician because they earn more than them.
Yeah.
So there's no ego that I married a plumber,
Yeah.
or I married an electrician, and I'm a doctor.
It's skilled workers.
Yeah.
They're called skilled labor,
Yeah,
right?
but here, my God, how
Yeah,
could they
no,
get married to that
here
kind of
it's
person? Yeah.
it's rooted in the
Yeah.
caste system here. I think fundamentally because
We don't have the respect, or we don't have to respect anyone doing anything.
right,
He's a human being. He's got that much capability.
right,
So we should just look at him like that. Like, all the people who are here behind the scene, they are specialized. They are equally as good as us.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we have to learn to respect, and thank them and be grateful that they are specialized in doing what they're doing.
Like
You know.
we have a nanny, so
Yeah.
for our kids, my wife and I, we have a nanny, and I am in such admiration of that woman. Like she is a machine. Like I cannot do what she does. No way. Like no way. Like I get it. I go to work and I do my work bit. I agree. It is more maybe a little more cerebral than what she does. But the amount of resilience and patience that is absolutely required to look after, a high-strung child, and she does it with so much love and conviction.
You're
And
blessed.
yeah, no, very,
You're blessed.
very, very, and I'm very much aware of that. I'm very much aware. I keep telling my wife that, like, every time we get upset over something, I'm like, just slow down, count your blessings.
We had a girl who brought up my granddaughter, my daughter's daughter, for 15 years,
Yeah.
16 years, and today she's still there in her life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is a blessing. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, is it in your book or one of your interviews? I think you had mentioned that, like, men, if nothing else, men should at least cry in the shower.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was really in my interview. I spoke at TEDx, TEDx Hyderabad.
Right.
The name of the TEDx topic in Hyderabad was Limitless.
Right,
So
your book, yeah.
yeah. So I used the same name, Limitless, for my book because I spoke there. And then in that, really after I finished my skydiving part, so I said skydiving is not only for men or women or me or anyone, it's for anyone, but I have something else to share. Okay, right from the time a child is a boy, whether it's here or abroad, it's not that it's only here in India, but it's abroad. You're a boy, you cannot cry. You're a boy, you cannot cry. Come on, get up, dust yourself and run. So you bring up that boy as a person to think that he is capable of doing everything. Okay. So there was a doctor who committed suicide, who was part of the TEDx Hyderabad group. Cafe Day guy committed suicide just around the same time, just a few months ago. And there were some others. Okay. So they were men who were doing very well. They were really guys who were doing so well. Why did they commit suicide? What is the reason? Because they didn't trust their women, their wife that much that she can take on she can shoulder the problem that he's going through. I will look small in front of my wife if I tell her the truth and say that I'm cracking up. Today, Cafe Day's wife is running Cafe Day. She's running the whole show. She's brought it back after everything they went through. Maybe at that day, if he had just told her that this is my income tax problem, or this is what I'm being harassed about, or this is my problem that I'm going through, everyone's on my neck. You know, can we think of a strategy? Can we think of something? So because he never had a good friend, and men rarely have good friends. That's honesty. Maybe she might be my good friend, and I just can go to her and cry to her, tell her everything under the sun, and I know she'll keep it in her stomach.
Right.
She may not betray me. And she'll tell me the same, and I'll keep it inside me. You know, but men are so scared. What will my friend think of me? You know, how can I share it? So that is the time I told the guys, when you're going through problems, stand under a shower, cry, take it out of your system. And believe in yourself and say every day morning when you're brushing your teeth that I can do it. I will fight it. I am strong. Keep saying it. Believe in yourself. Look at the mirror every day and say it. Don't wait for someone to tell you. Hey, I pat you on your back. We wait up for our mothers to pat us.
What are you saying? What are you saying is absolutely correct.
You go out in the wilderness and scream, yaar. Take some beer bottles and crash it and throw it. Make some noise outside where no one will listen to you.
Yeah. So there are a lot of healthy ways to go about this, but there are fundamentally certain problems. So it's like one thing, and I've heard this from other researchers and other, is the fact that women are not particularly adept at dealing with male grief or outburst of male grief.
I don't think so.
Not my words. So this is from the content which I've seen, read, is that
No, you can't be a crybaby.
so here's the thing. Yeah, so that's the thing. So
you cannot be crying every day.
But that's the thing. So that's the thing, right? So it is societally acceptable for a woman to grieve repeatedly.
That's the husband will get fed up.
See, that is different. Whether it's fed up or not is entirely different. But if a woman cries, it is societally acceptable. One, the husband, like, okay, she's going through a phase, it might be that, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and she'll reach out to her friends, they're healing. Women fundamentally heal in groups, right from childhood.
Yeah.
So that's what the whole logic of a woman calling her friend to vent. It's basically they are not problem solving.
No.
They are healing together. Taking it healing together. Men are problem solvers. That is the male mind. That's purely how it functions. I realize this because I have spoken to therapists, and then this is what they tell. Like, male minds function as problem solvers. So, and I do talk to my friends.
Sorry for interrupting you, but how did that get into your mind? You were a baby that were born. You never came tuned, or you never came.
No, there is a certain biological factor to it.
Yeah, but more because our parents, the environment in the house, not only in India, everywhere. You're a guy. So my son has 2 girls. He has 2 daughters. With the first daughter, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
The first daughter, he really put her in cotton wool. She's a
normal
girl.
Happens, the same thing. Yeah.
The second child, he treated her like hell. Get up, dust yourself and walk. I don't want to hear her cry. I don't want to see her tear. Get up. What is this?
Right.
And today, she's got selected in the US Air Force, where out of only 1,000 kids of the whole of America is taken in.
Right.
Because her father, from childhood, made her strong. So he never wanted to have a son. He always wanted to have another girl. But today she's a total tomboy.
That happens. So what you're saying is nature versus nurture. That I completely agree. And that this is literally happening right now in my life, because my older one is a girl she's a COVID baby. She was born during COVID. And the girl, first girl child in the family, so she's extremely doted over and she's super pampered. She's a proper passenger princess, is what we call her, which I'm kind of hoping she'll grow out of it at some point.
No, you
But
do break it now itself.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
really try. But with my second one is a son, the boy. And obviously, like you said, with the second child, parents are a lot more relaxed in the upbringing, right? When the first one falls, we're like, oh no, what happened? But the second one was just like, he's walking, it's fine. It's okay, it's all right. Dust yourself off, you're good. So this is nurture. What I'm saying, but fundamentally, even nature, and I've seen with kids, like there are certain things boys gravitate towards and certain things girls gravitate towards. And this is regardless of upbringing. There are certain behavioral differences. For example, boys are a lot more rambunctious. Their brain development is different. Girls usually, on an average, start speaking and start thinking a lot quicker. Boys a lot slower.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So these differences do exist. Coming back to it, like coming back to what we were talking, I've made it a practice now with me and a couple of my friends, right? If we are going through a bit of a dark patch, we make it a point to like meet. Most of my friends are actually scattered throughout the country or other parts of the world. But we make it a point at some point to meet. If nothing, it's just catch up over a beer and just talk. And that talk really helps.
That's so.
But again, even those conversations are usually problem solving oriented. It is not about let's just talk and vent it out, right? It's mostly if I have a problem that needs a solution and I need a fresh perspective on it,
You'll ask a friend.
I'll ask a friend. So this is there. And what you said is correct. Not a lot of men, as they get older, the friend circle shrinks.
Yeah.
And it's a very common thing, especially for men, when they work, because you really do not have time. And it becomes more difficult to make friends as you get older.
Yeah.
Right? Your interests have to align and all that kind of stuff. When you're kids, it's like, you like this dinosaur, I like this dinosaur. We're best friends for life. It's like, you're best friends for like 30 years. Well, it's not that simple when you're like 30 or 40, right?
Yeah.
So, with women, the friendships, they tend to carry forward a lot longer, is what and they have bigger circles. With men, they don't have that. And it's, again, that is, I truly believe that is a function of nature and biology, not necessarily entirely social aspects. But things are changing, I feel, but coming back to it, there are fundamentally a lot more operational differences between men and women, and this is still yet to be addressed by modern psychology and modern treatments and such. And even when discussing problems, like when they say, like when you said like men should cry in the shower, the problem is what solution is going to come. As far as a man is concerned, if I'm going through a problem right now and I've had a really bad day, I do not want to come home and talk about that issue all over again. It'll basically be, for me, I'll be reliving that entire thing all over again.
I agree with you.
Right. I don't want to. I just want to like sit quiet, maybe open a beer.
Put it on the carpet.
Yeah, just put it on the carpet. Maybe it'll be processing in the back of my head until a solution pops up. Right. But till then, I do not want to discuss over it. And how is me going into a shower going to like, what do you say? I completely understand the thought process behind what you said.
What I meant at that time was
vent it out.
You know, sometimes
don't bottle it up.
No, crying right. helps.
Right.
Like you go and break some bottles.
Right.
Like instead of hitting somebody and boxing someone, the person who you're angry with, you can't go and hit him.
See, going to the gym is a good solution.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But at the same time, you can go out in the open where there's nobody and scream and abuse and do anything you want where nobody will hear it.
Right.
So you are lightening yourself out.
Right.
Basically, you're lightening yourself. And for countering that, I said that every day, you as a guy, because it's a very difficult place for guys in this world than women. Okay, I take that. You have to stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm the best.
Great.
There's no one better. Whether anyone else acknowledges it or not, whether your wife acknowledges it or not, you stand there and you say, I am the best and there's no one better than me. And you start saying, you'll see the difference in yourself. Every day you say it.
Right.
Because you're reoriented, you're retelling yourself, I'm good. I'm good.
It's an affirmation.
Yeah, the affirmation. I was not getting the right word. Thank you for it. But when you're convincing yourself, you're brainwashing yourself. You don't need to go to a therapist and spend thousands of rupees to just to hear that.
Right.
You know, so we all go through our ups and downs. In the Bible, it's very sweetly written, we have our valley times and we have our mountaintop times. So
Right.
there is time when God takes you through the valley, He's molding you to take you up to a mountain for another phase of life.
Right.
So all of us, even how rich we are, how well off we are, what a good place we are, we never know when the valley time is going to hit you or when you're going to go through a problem. You know, but if God is putting you through the process, He's molding you. He's going to change you to something else. He's opening another door for you. So I always say that God has kept opening my doors for me. You know, He always opened, because I said no in my life. I didn't have a husband, and I didn't want to get married again because I had two beautiful children. Okay, so I was very happy at home with them, and I was very happy because of my trust with God. So that is what I've lived with. But even like I tell some people, my childhood is not gone out of me. Even today, I like to be naughty.
Right. Anything you would, at this stage in life, when you look back, anything you would have done different?
There's lots, but let's not talk about it. You can't rewrite.
Right. But any regrets?
No.
No regrets. Okay. That's a sign.
Sometimes you take a decision which you think, yeah, you still realize it's for the best.
Okay. It's a sign of a wise life
Yeah.
well lived.
Yeah.
No regrets. Okay.
I think when you have inner happiness, no,
Right.
your face radiates it, your eyes radiate it.
True.
Because your heart reflects your eyes. What is in your heart, through your eyes, it
Eyes
gets
are
reflected.
Windows to the soul.
Yeah. My children catch me at once if I'm sad. They just have to look at my eyes and say, "Mom, what is upsetting you?" I said, "Oh, nothing. Don't lie." Because they know who I am, you know. So that is the same thing with, someone really loves you, will know at once that, there is something that is, hurting you, or something that's upsetting you. So yesterday, by mistake, a small thing, I just said, "Hi, Dennis." "Oh, I'm up Schitt's Creek." What did I do now? Otherwise, I'll say, "Good morning, Monet." He's in the US.
Right.
"How are you?" So there was no Monet and no nothing. So I called him by his name. I said, "Oh, by mistake, I used the name." A small thing like that.
Right.
So at once he realized that Mom is, there's something there. I have to watch out.
Small tells,
Yeah.
small signs.
So that's what I say. People really know each other.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really nice having you. It was really good talking, and like you said yesterday, I haven't broken my present streak of having very vibrant, beautiful women on the show. And thank you for adding to that list.
Thank you very much for having me. It was such a pleasure to be here,
Right.
and I do thank Sanishan for getting me here.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Yeah, he does a good job. And today, where I am today, is because I think, like I get introduced to people like you. I would have never known you, so not seen your Instagram or followed you.
Right.
So I never knew about you till he introduced you to me. So I'm really grateful, and I bless you immensely for what you are doing.
Thank you so much.
That you go ahead. May you move to the next step.
Thank
God opens another door for you. Do something different, whatever. But I know you'll do very well in life.
Thank you so much.